everybody. Hi, happy Wednesday. Now, welcome to White City Place Connect, where we are providing occupiers of White City Place a live platform to learn and engage whilst supporting wellbeing from the comfort and safety of your homes. My name's Dora, for those of you who don't know me. Welcome. So we're going to begin on our yoga mat, possibly on the shins, but in any comfortable seating position that works for you. So that might be cross-legged, you might have a couple of blocks to sit onto, or if you want to try this position and the bones of the feet feel a little uncomfortable on the floor or a little stiff, you could place a blanket underneath, perhaps, a blanket or a towel. So give yourself a couple of minutes to find a comfortable seat. That is actually the translation of asana. Asana is a Sanskrit word for our poses, which translates as a comfortable seat. So we're wanting to try and find a sense of ease in our practice. It doesn't want to be a struggle, and it certainly doesn't want to be painful. So once you've found your seat, whatever that is, and that may be with your back against a wall or the back of a sofa or a bed, turn your palms either down on your thighs. If you need a sense of grounding, if you're a little bit flighty, anxious, perhaps you just want to calm and be centered and come into the present. If, on the other hand, you're feeling a little bit lethargic, you weren't sure if you were going to make it here today, a little bit tired or unenthusiastic, turn your palms upwards for a receptive quality, receiving energy. So you can try both of those and just have a sense of the different energetic effects. And you can make your choice. Have a sense of your connection to the earth. The pelvis is heavy, the tailbone lengthens down, and the spine rises in opposition. Lengthen up through the back of the neck, base of the skull. Soften the skin of your face down from the hairline to the chin. And if it's comfortable for you, lightly close your eyes. If not, you can take a soft gaze on the earth in front of you. And just start to become aware of your breath. Just observing, sensing the natural breath as it is. The natural breath lies between an unconscious breath, which may be a lot of the time. Thank goodness we don't have to think to breathe. And the practices of pranayama, where we are consciously controlling the breath. Therefore, the natural breath, we have an awareness of the breath, but we're not trying to change it in any way. And the natural breath is adaptable. It changes to meet our needs. Again, without us having to think about it. You may find as you sit here, the breath starts to settle, become a little quieter. Or you may feel you need to take a few deeper breaths. There may be some yawning, deep inhalation, a long exhalation. Just naturally, your body will know what it is you need to start to settle at the beginning of your practice. Bring the hands together into prayer position. And as you press your palms together lightly, feel the elbows slightly rise. As you press right and left palms together gently, feel a broadening from shoulder to shoulder. You may feel a rise through your spine. Be careful not to lose your seat. Interlacing the fingers here and reaching the knuckles forward. Extending the hands now, palms together. Interlacing the fingers once again and drawing the thumbs towards the heart. Start to rotate your wrists. Let the forearms glide over one another. So it's like the element of water lubricating these joints. Think more about the forearms gliding and then start to speed that up a little bit. Let it be fluid. And then rotate in the opposite direction, which may feel a little unusual. Or you tend to have a preference, one that feels easier than the other. And then speed that up. Let the forearms glide over one another. Extending the arms out in front of you. Once again, palms are apart. Draw the arm bones back into the sockets. Feel free to change your seating position at any point if you need to. Cross the right wrist over the left. Turn the palms to face one another. Take an inhale, and if you feel comfortable to do so, retain the breath. Hold the breath. I don't recommend you do this if you're pregnant or you're suffering from anxiety. Just breathe naturally. Or if it feels uncomfortable for you in any way, bring the earlobes over the tops of the shoulders. And then exhale and let the breath go as you float your arms forward. Interlace the fingers once again. Turn the knuckles towards your heart and then away from you, like Ganesh's trunk. Now, you may not come very far. Please don't strain your wrists. Knuckles turn back towards the heart, releasing them forward. Turn the palms to face one another, draw the arm bones back into the sockets. Cross your left wrist over your right, turn the palms, Urdhva Hastasana. Take an inhale. If you're comfortable, retain the breath, hold the breath here, but let it drop down onto the diaphragm. So you're infusing the whole of the chest cavity here. Rather than being rigid in the throat, in the jaw, check for tension in the face. And then let it go on the exhale. Interlacing the fingers, curling the knuckles towards your heart, and then taking your arms forward like Ganesh's trunk without straining. It's a nice stretch for the wrists, but you don't want to overdo this. Turn the knuckles back towards the heart, release, extend the fingers, and press the palms together as if you were trying to separate them. Open your arms out to the sides and just feel any energy that may have shifted here. Thumbs towards the center of each palm. Wrap the fingers around the thumb, and you're going to roll your shoulders forward as you exhale. And then turn your armpits and the palms towards the ceiling as you inhale. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And again. Lovely. Maybe let's speed it up a little bit. So we're raising a little bit of energy now, rotating forward, rotating up. Great, and then turning the palms up, opening up the fingers. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, grow even taller as your thumbs draw down towards your midline. Beautiful. So coming off the knees now, onto your hands and your knees. Let's stretch the right leg out to the side and bring the inner arch in line with the knee. Turn your left palm up and sweep it through here as if you're reaching in front of the big toe. Maybe side of the face comes to the floor. Anchor to the outer edge of your right foot. And then pushing into your right palm to come back onto both hands. Keep the legs where they are, but go the opposite way. So turning up your right palm. Sweep it through. Now you may not come all the way to the floor here. May take a few more breaths to come down. Maybe a strong stretch of the inner seam of the leg as you breathe into the twist. And pressing down into your left palm. Walk the hands either side of your knee, so they're a little bit over towards the left. Maybe shift the weight over, raise up the right leg. Doesn't have to be high. Keep the heel away. Take an inhale. Exhale, knee comes in. Inhale, extend the leg out. Exhale, knee comes in. Inhale, extend the leg out. Exhale, knee comes to the floor. Walk your hands back. So they're in line with your knees, maybe a little bit wider. Stretch your left leg out. So the inner arch is more or less in line with the knee. Turn your right palm upwards and sweep it through as if you thread a needle. Reaching along the floor in front of your big toes, side of the shoulder, maybe side of the face to the floor. Spine is lengthening. Breathing here. Anchoring to the outer edge of your left foot. And pressing into your left palm to come back up. Left palm turns up, legs stay as they are. You feed the arm through here, side of the shoulder, side of the face. Great. Couple of breaths here. Don't feel you need to make it all the way to the floor. Just wherever you are is where you're meant to be. Press into your right palm to come back up. Walk the hands either side of the knee. So like a little tripod there. And as you inhale, shift the weight over. Maybe the left leg lifts. Kick the heel away as you inhale. Exhale, pull the knee in. Inhale, extend the leg out. Exhale, come back in. One more time. Inhaling. Exhale, knee comes to the floor. Walk your hands so they're just a little bit wider than your knees. Tuck your toes. Come to sit down on your heels and stretch your arms forward into a child's pose. Toes are tucked if you can. So you get a little opening into the soles of your feet. Forehead can be on the floor or slightly lifted. And as you inhale, come up onto hands and knees. As you exhale, float yourself up and back into a downward facing dog. We'll work this dynamically. Inhale, lowering your knees to the floor. Exhale, come to sit back down. So just reminding ourselves that the breath initiates the movement. The inhale takes you onto hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lower your knees to the floor. Exhale, come and sit back down. Inhaling, hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift both heels as you inhale. As you exhale, bend your right knee, sink your left heel. So we're moving with the breath. Inhale, both heels lift. Exhale, left knee bends, right heel sinks. One more time each side. Inhale. Heels are high. Exhale. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale, raise both heels, tilt your pelvis, lift your tailbone towards the sky. Soften the heels to the floor, stretching to the inner and outer edges of your feet here. And soften your knees as you walk your hands back towards the feet. So you're going to be standing at the back of your mat. Feet are a hip distance apart. Let your head go. So bend your knees as much as you need to at least have the fingertips on the floor here. Notice if you're holding your head. Can you let it go here? And as we sit down towards Utkatasana, sweep your arms forward, so chair pose. Inhale. As you exhale, hold the shape of your legs, just reach forward as if to touch the earth. You may or may not. Inhale, begin to straighten the legs as your hands slide back towards the feet. Let the head go. Do that one more time. Inhale, bend the knees, Utkatasana. Exhale, soften into the groins as you reach towards the floor. Inhale, begin to straighten the legs, hands slide back onto the feet. Inhale, Utkatasana. On your way to standing all the way up as you inhale. And as you exhale, float the arms down by your sides. And walk yourself forward towards the front of the mat. Feet are hip distance apart. And you're going to stretch your left leg out to the side. Beyond the tip of your big toe, and there's a little internal rotation here in the top of the thigh. Right arm comes up by your ear, so you're stretching out on a diagonal from your navel center. As you inhale, maybe the leg floats off, you stretch out a little bit more. Exhale, knee and elbow come towards one another. Inhale, stretching out. Exhaling, drawing in. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Hold it here. Raise the right arm up by your ear. Dive back with your left leg into a lunge and you're going to swap arms. So you'll have your right foot in front, your left arm up by your ear here. Reach up. Imagine you are holding onto a cord or a rope. So you keep that length as you lower your back knee softly down to the floor. Take your elbow onto the top or outside of your thigh, your left elbow, right palm on top. Make one long line with your forearms here. Shoulder blades lean back a little bit, so there's a little bit of space between your belly and your inner thigh. And find that balance between too much effort and too little effort. So you're not just hanging out here, flopping over the leg. Neither are you really using the lever of the leg to over twist. As you bring your thumbs back underneath your breastbone in prayer, lift your back knee off the floor so you're laying forward, back of the neck long. Open your arms out into an aeroplane position. Float your left fingertips or even the palm of the hand to the floor. Reach up with your right arm. So no hierarchical presence here, preference. You're rooting down as much as you're reaching up. Using your front leg for support. Can you pull yourself upright? So you're being a twist, left arm forward, right arm back. Raise the left arm up by your ear. Bring your back heel to the floor. Find yourself in a warrior two with the right foot in front here. We want to allow that back hip to rotate in enough so this front knee is traveling over the middle two toes safely and comfortably. Asana, comfortable seat. And that may take a while. Wrap your left arm around the back of the waist. Turn your right palm up. Reach as you inhale. Exhale. Little reverse warrior. Smoothing down the sacrum here. And coming back over. Bring the upper arm or elbow inside of the knee. Use the spiral of the arm against the waist to look up towards the shoulder. Hold it there. I was just seeing a little message pop up there. I just wanted to make sure this was all Streaming okay? Okay. I'm hoping so. I know we kind of froze last week. Reach your right arm forward, come back into a reverse warrior, reaching up. And then windmilling the arms, either side of your front foot here, right foot in front. Step back into a high plank. Press the heels back a little bit. So you're distributing the weight between all points of contact, body and floor. Lower your knees, chest and chin as you exhale. Inhale, baby cobra. Send the heart into space. Exhale, tuck toes, downward facing dog. You step your left foot a little closer to your right if you like that adjustment. Stroke the floor with your right foot, so the right leg rises up behind you. Doesn't have to be high. Looking forward as you bend the knee through, step the foot in between the hands. Help it through with your right hand if you need to. Come onto the tips of the fingers so you can glide your back foot forward. Feet are hip distance apart. Let your head hang. Take an inhale, coming up. Leading with the heart, arms sweep out to the sides, coming up. And as you exhale, release the arms down. Great. So standing at the front of your mat, your right leg comes out to the side, tip of the big toe, a little internal rotation of that thigh, left arm up by your ear, but slightly out on a diagonal. So from your navel center, you're reaching out on a diagonal movement pattern. As you inhale, maybe the right toes float off the leg and arm become longer. Exhale, elbow and knee. Inhaling, extend outwards. Exhaling, condensing back to your center. Inhale. Exhaling. Raise the left arm up by your ear, right knee is lifted. So you dive back with the right toes. Can you change arms? So you have your left knee in front, as if you're holding onto a cord so you keep the height. Softly lower your back knee to the earth. Lovely. Bring the right elbow onto the top of the thigh. Left palm on top, gently pressing top palm on bottom. Find that balance between too much effort, too little effort. Keep the breath smooth, circular, as much as you can. And then thumbs underneath the breastbone, lifting the back knee off the floor. Open your arms into an aeroplane position and drift the right fingertips or even plant the right palm down. Left arm rises as you look up towards the fingers, draw the shoulder blades down the back. So as much as you root down to the right fingertips, you rise to the left. The head and the heart along the horizon, between the earth and the sky. Keep this twist, push into the front foot and lift your shoulders upright. Right arm forward, left arm back. Windmill the arms so the right arm comes up and over, back heel down. Left arm extends, warrior two. Adjust that back hip. It'll be different for all of us. Our hip joints are as unique as our faces in the way that we are set, in the way that we were born. Wrap your right arm around the back of the waist. Turn your left palm up. Reach as you inhale. Exhale, arm comes up by the ear. That back arm is smoothing the tailbone nice and long. So there's lots of space. You're reaching more upwards than you are backwards. Long underneath side of the body as you come over. Elbow or forearm inside of the knee. Back arm is spiraling, helping to rotate the rib cage. And there's a relationship here between the knee and the upper arm to help you stay stable. Good. Reaching with the left arm. Come back, little reverse warrior, before windmilling the arms either side of your front foot. Swivel up the back heel and step back into a high plank. Lift the inner thighs towards the ceiling. Now, without rolling the hips too much, so the pelvic bones stay almost square to the floor, could you peel off your left hand and raise it up? And then place it back down to the floor deliberately. Peel off your right arm. Root into the earth to receive the uplift. Deliberately place the hand back onto the earth. Lower your knees. Chest and chin. Inhale, little cobra. Exhale, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Now, if you like that little adjustment of centering the stabilizing foot, the supporting foot, step your right foot in a little bit towards the left. Float the left leg up behind you, pointing the toes. Doesn't have to be high. Think of the length through the inner seam of your leg. Press the palms down and forward. And then bend the knee through. Step the foot in between the hands. Help it if it needs to be helped through. And the back foot comes forward, fold. Lead with your heart as you come all the way up to standing. And this time we're going to take the fingertips just behind the back of your skull here. Shift the weight onto the right leg, and there's a soft knee there, and lift your left knee up. Actually, let's start with the tip of the toe on the floor so that you don't feel it needs to be a huge movement. Yeah, so we do a little crunch here as you exhale, navel draws back. Knee might lift a little bit, elbow towards the inner outer edge of the knee, and then big toe comes back to the floor. And again, exhale. So it could be a really small movement, could be a larger movement. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhale, lifting the knee, raising the arms this time, and then cross the left ankle over the knee. I'm going to turn my palms to face one another. It's a little one-legged Utkatasana here. And as you lift the left knee again, drop the left arm, so you've got an opposite arm to leg. Same as we did before, you're going to reach back with those toes and swap arms. So you're in a high lunge, right leg in front, left arm lifted. Take the left elbow onto the top or outside of the thigh. A little bit more of a balance here. Right palm on top, back of the neck long. Pull your right hip back in space. Shoulder blades down the back. Couple of breaths here. Thumbs underneath the sternum. Float the arms out into an aeroplane position, and this time we'll just come upright without the twist, and the whole body turns into a warrior two. Left arm wraps around the back of the waist to straighten up your right knee. Swing the hips back as you turn your right palm up. Reach. Little straight leg reverse warrior. And then into a Trikonasana this time, making sure that you're not locking that front knee. So upper arm can come in front of the knee, in front of the shin. Back arm is spiraling the rib cage as you look up towards that shoulder. Couple of breaths here. As you inhale, rooting through the legs. Turning your toes in so that parallel, arm comes up by the ear, and then floating forwards, fingertips just in line with the big toes. Just seeing what keeps popping up here in case it's something I need to read. Looks okay. So feet are parallel, little tripod, lengthening through the spine. Left arm still around the back of the waist. Start to turn the heart towards the left. And so those left fingertips, they're almost coming onto the top of the right thigh. They might even be as if you're sliding that hand down the inner thigh. No forcing. Keep the lift and the length to the spine. And then squaring your shoulders towards the earth, release the left hand down. Walk your hands back towards the toes a little bit. And let your head hang. You may like this opportunity to just nod and shake your head a little bit. Releasing some tension, even a little wiggle in your hips. And then walking yourself back around towards the right foot into a lunge. Let's step back into a down facing dog. You can hold your down dog if this feels enough for you today, or flow through a vinyasa, through plank. You can take a chaturanga up dog if that's your practice. If not, stay with me. Knees, chest and chin. Exhale, inhale, come through. Exhale, lift your navel, tuck your toes, down facing dog. Float the right leg up behind you. Come high onto the ball of your left foot, so you might have a little bit more space here. Bend the knee through, look where you're going to place that foot. You may have a better chance of making it there. And then glide your back foot forward. Feet are hip distance apart. Let yourself hang. Inhale, lead with your heart as you sweep your arms out and up. Bringing the fingertips behind the base of the skull. You're going to pull the weight onto the left leg, softening the knee. Right knee comes up. Actually, let's start with the tip of the toe on the floor as we did before. So it might be a really small movement. The navel draws back. It's like a little crunch. Curling in, exhale. Inhale, open. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, left knee rises, right knee rises, raise the arms, flex the foot, cross it over. Maybe turn the palms to face one another, little one-legged Utkatasana. As you raise the right knee up again, release the right arm down, so you've got opposite arm to leg. Dive back and change the cross of the arms. Left foot in front, right arm rises. Twist right elbow onto the top or to the outside of the thigh. It's the same little twist, but a little bit more balance required here with the back knee off the floor. Back of the neck long. How is your breath? Thumbs underneath the sternum. Open the arms out into an aeroplane position. Coming all the way up and just opening the heart, back heel down. Find your warrior two. So you can take a few moments to arrive. Back arm, right arm wraps around the back of the waist. Turn your left palm. Straighten up the leg as you lift into a reverse warrior, smoothing the tailbone long. And coming over without locking that front knee. Trikonasana, hand inside. But don't go so low that the upper body is curling forward. So imagine that your body was sandwiched between two panes of glass. Front and back body along the same plane. And if it causes too much tension in the neck to look up, you can look straight ahead or even look down. And just moving, expanding outwards on the breath. And a little bit of core stability on each exhalation. Keep missing that. Reaching your arm forward. Little reverse warrior. And then turning your left toes in. Float the left fingertips to the floor. So you make a little tripod here between your big toes and the fingers. Lengthen through the heart. Right arm is spiraling the rib cage. You're twisting. Maybe right fingertips catch a hold of the top of the thigh, sliding down the inner leg. And then releasing the right fingertips to the earth. Walking your fingertips back towards you, you can bend the knees, inviting the weight into the outer edges of the feet. Crown of the head descends to the earth. And walking yourself around towards your left foot, back into a lunge. Step back into a downward facing dog. Your choice, you might want to drop into a child's pose. You can hold your down dog, or you can flow through a vinyasa of your choice, through plank. I'm doing a baby vinyasa, lowering the knees, chest and chin, through into cobra. And back into a downward facing dog. Left leg floats up behind me, so you may want to adjust the right foot, the stabilizing foot, that's a little bit more centered. Lift right up onto the ball of your foot. So there's more space in the belly. Bend the knee through as you look forward. Footsteps in between the hands. Back footsteps in. Feet are hip distance apart. Maybe just take a hold of your elbows so you can hang for a little bit here. Just letting a little bit of weight through your spine. Release the elbows. Take an inhale, lead with the heart, come all the way up. And step your feet together, sitting down into Utkatasana, thumbs to the heart. And soften into your groins. Take your left elbow either onto the top or to the outside of your thigh. You squeeze the knees together so much that you might be picking up your left toes, so like a little flamingo. Knees are squeezed together to make this happen. Dive back with your left toes into your lunge. Step the left foot back, feet together. Could you press your right knee out towards your elbows so much that you start to come up with your right knee? So coming upright, maybe your right knee comes up with you into a little twist. It is tricky, so don't judge yourself if your balance is off today. Good, and then placing the foot back down onto the floor. Look down towards the toes. Reach the fingertips towards the earth. And just hop your feet as wide as your mat. So mat width here. Bend your knees. Find a midline through your mat. And place your thumbs on that midline. Right fingertips pointing forward, left fingertips pointing back. And as you creep your fingertips in opposite directions, so your left fingertips come through your legs, bend your knees. Lean your left shoulder inside your knee. Maybe the right arm rises into a twist. Perhaps the arm wraps around the waist and you interlock the fingers. It's a little bit disorientating, definitely a different perspective here. And release yourself here. Just taking a hold of the elbow points, maybe pressing the heels down and away to lift the hips. Great. Release the fingertips to the floor, walk your hands forward a little bit. Bend the knees and hop your feet together. Come all the way up to standing, inhale. Exhale, thumbs to the heart as you sit down into Utkatasana. Take the right elbow onto the top or to the outside of the thigh. Squeeze the knees together so much that you might be able to pick up your right toes. Dive back into your twisted lunge. Step your right foot forward, feet together. Now you need to press your left knee out towards your elbow so you have that connection. Shift the weight onto the right leg, and perhaps you're coming upright here in your twist. It's not easy. Press the knee out towards the elbow. That's the action that's going to give you stability here. Coming down, place the foot back to the floor. In this order, look to the earth. Release the fingertips to the floor and fold. Bend the knees and hop your feet as wide as your mat, so mat width. Left hand forward, right hand fingers pointing back, and your thumbs are on your midline here. You creep your left fingertips forward, your right fingertips through your leg. Bend your knees, lean your right shoulder blade inside your knee. Maybe raise up that right arm, left arm. Top arm comes around the back of the waist. Right arm underneath for a little twist. You can always just take a squat if this feels too much for you today. And then release. Hanging over, taking a hold of your elbows, pressing the heels down into the mat and lift the hips so the hips feel a little bit lighter. Release the fingertips to the floor. Walk your hands forward, bend the knees, and hop your feet together so you come and sit down on the heels. Interlace your fingers, like we did early on in the practice. Point your index fingers and reach them up towards the sky like an arrow. Drop your knees a little bit if you can, so your thighs are perpendicular to the floor. Separate the knees, the inner feet are gluing together here. Release your tailbone back. And your chest comes forward, lifting the upper arms by the ears. Fan out the toes. So you're counterbalancing the weight of your upper body with your hips. Squeeze the knees together. Reach up, melt the shoulders. One more time if you can. So it's this really strengthening for the ankles. You're going to be wobbling. Separate the knees. Dropping the chest down, but trying to keep the upper arms lifted, framing the head. And then release the fingertips to the floor. Let your upper body release if you wish, if you can. And to complete the pose, Malasana, you turn the shoulders forward, roll the shoulders forward. Wrap the upper arms around the shins. Maybe take a hold of the heels and let your head hang. So your arms at this point would become a garland. Mala translates as garland, Malasana. A garland of flowers. Great. And then let's just walk the fingertips forward here and drop the knees to the earth. So your knees are as wide as your mat. Just untuck the toes, because it may be quite excruciating at this point, can be. Walk your hands back. Walk your fingertips behind you this time. Make little cupcakes with your hands. And slide the heart up towards the chin. So you've got a little upper body opening here. The essence of a back bend. Perhaps you want to lift your hips off your heels. And then releasing your sit bones down onto your heels. Beautiful. Walk yourself forward and come into a child's pose. And with the knees quite wide here, you can perhaps snuggle the belly inside, chest and forehead towards the earth. Just returning to your breath as it changes. your hands back as you come back upright. Bringing your knees together, you may want to turn sideways on your mat here. We're going to stretch the right leg out again, so almost back where we started. And this time walking the hands so you can come with your hands onto your hips. Feel your hip bones here. It might not be quite level. Notice what changes when you roll your right inner thigh towards the ceiling so the knee and the toes point up. More or less you want your heel in line with your knee here. Hook your thumbs, spread your fingers, take an inhale. As if you're pulling the thumbs apart from one another. And then lift your ribcage up off your waist. As you inhale, lift up a little bit more and curl over towards that straight leg. Little lateral stretch to the spine. And the right hand falls onto the shin. Maybe the left palm turns. Look straight ahead, look up. Or look down. Now this top arm, this left arm, is going to fold onto the hand that's on the shin, a little bit like a little swan lake movement. So the navel starts to turn a little bit. So you get a little bit of spiraling into the back here, psoas muscle. And take the fingertips onto the floor in front of you. Walk the fingers forward. And you might want to place your right foot all the way to the floor here, rather than having it flexed. Not if it feels uncomfortable. And then hinge forward a little bit and hinge back a little bit. Just rocking forward and rocking back. All quite strong opening into that inner seam of the leg. Take your left toes forward and you might be able to come and sit behind the heel. Don't worry if that little transition wasn't possible. We're going to make our way into a Janu Shirshasana. Now I brought my thighs in a little bit here so I'm not too long, so that I can be more towards the front of the sit bones than sitting on the tailbone. Turn the heart towards the bent knee. So this is my left knee. Wrap the left arm around the back of the waist, as we did in that twist before. Maybe the fingertips come onto the thigh, maybe not. Root down. Find an uplift to the spine. And then we'll take this in a little bit of a yin fashion. So elbow, right elbow onto the thigh or the shin. Make a loose fist and I'm just going to let my head hang here, like that thinking man statue. So I'm letting my head rest here. Staying a few breaths. And feeling how on each inhalation, the space that happens on the inhale, and on each exhale, moving in to embody that space. If you wanted to go a little bit further, the right arm could open, fall onto the shin, or even in front of the shin, and then the ear drops onto the shoulder, right ear to shoulder. Making my way up out of this, releasing the back arm, right ankle comes over, and take my hands behind me, my fingers are pointing forward, possibly press the knees to the floor, and lift the hips, just a little opening here into the chest. And then releasing down. Great. I'm going to stretch my legs out here. Give the feet a little rotation, which in turn will release the knees, hopefully a little bit. Rotating the feet in both directions. And then curling the shins over to one side, coming back onto hands and knees. Stretching the left leg out. Walking the hands back and taking hands onto hips. So at this point, my left hip is a little higher than my right. If I rotate my knee and toes towards the ceiling, it kind of slots into place a little bit better. So I'm pivoting on the heel, hooking my thumbs in opposition to the one that feels natural, spreading the fingers, reaching up. So we've almost created a circuit here through the arms across the back of the shoulder blades. And lifting the ribcage up off the waist, curling over towards the straight leg. A little lateral stretch here. Releasing the left hand to the shin, right arm coming over. You may or may not go a little bit further, but you're reaching outwards. Top on the right arm comes onto the left. So curling your way towards that straight leg a little bit. Breathing into the back of the body perhaps. And then walking the fingertips around towards the front. You can stay on the heel. You might be placing that foot to the floor, and there's a little rocking motion forwards and backwards here. And it might be a very tiny movement. Just see what works for you with that left foot. Taking the right toes forward, swinging that shin forward a little bit. So there might be the opportunity to come and sit all the way down behind the heel. Don't worry if that wasn't possible. You can make your way now into your Janushirasana. Legs a little bit closer, so they don't want to be as wide as you possibly can if you're collapsing into the belly and rolling onto the tailbone. Turn your heart towards the bent knee. Right arm wraps around the back of the waist. Left elbow is just going to come over here. Rest it on the leg where it wants to. Loose fist, so you can let your head or temple just rest on the fist there. There's a little bit of a yin quality to this. Yin is a little softer. We're not worried as much about the muscular effort. Trying to find that there's that comfortable edge. So you could, if we had longer, stay here for a few minutes, perhaps. But as we have a short class, just a few breaths. Stay here if this is enough. Come up if this feels too much. Release the left arm, if you can go a little bit further, left ear to shoulder. So you're just letting the head hang here. Back arm wraps around the waist. Breathing. Just making your way up slowly. Crossing your left ankle and shin in front. Hands can come behind you. And you want to be quite close towards your ankles with your sit bones. Maybe the knees come to the floor. You lift your hips a little bit. Little opening into the chest. And then release to the earth. Fantastic. Unravel your legs here. Come towards the front of your mat, feet to hip distance. Imagine you had a block in between your legs. You're squeezing the block so as to activate the deeper abdominal muscles, give you a bit of stability as you reach the arms forward, and then slowly roll yourself down to the earth. And drawing the right knee towards you, left leg extends. Take the right arm out to the side. Knee comes across the body into a single leg twist. Left hand can just provide a little bit of weight there if you want. Just go as far as you feel. You're going to twist a different portion of your spine depending how far you want to take it. Nothing too extreme. Breathe behind the navel. Coming back to the center, changing legs. Right leg extends, left knee comes towards you. Left arm out to the side, knee comes across. Spreading the shoulder blades. Relax the face, the jaw. Coming back to the center, hugging both knees towards you, perhaps lifting head and shoulders off, curling yourself into a little seed before extending your body along the earth into Shavasana, arms down by your sides, lengthening the limbs away from the sockets. Taking a couple of final breaths as you settle, a couple of final conscious breaths. Before letting go of any consciousness over the breath or the mind, just resting in stillness and silence for the last minute of your practice. Beginning to make your way back. Become conscious once again of the weight and contact of your body on the earth. Picking up the thread of your breath. You may want to give yourself a slightly bigger stretch, arms overhead, wiggling your body on the earth. Big inhale and then hug your knees towards you on the exhale, or if a quieter awakening, just rolling yourself over to the right side. And from your right side, make your way back to a comfortable seat. So we may want to come back as we started on the shins. And taking an inhale as you raise your arms out to the sides. Hands into prayer above the crown of your head. So just closing down the higher realms. Draw your thumbs down past your third eye. Anya chakra, base of the throat, Vishuddha chakra, down to rest at the heart center, Anahata chakra. And when you're ready, gently opening the eyes. Namaste. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me today. I hope the rest of your day is a beautiful one, and I hope to see some of you next week.